You're not wrong though. I swear,
You were gonna say
I literally was winding up to say, "Hey, everybody, I'm JJ. That's Sarah. We're the Mantracks." Is that better? Is that a nice one?
I'm JJ. That's Sarah. Is if they are seeing you point to me.
Yep. There's a podcast that I really like, and that's how they always introduce it. The host's name is Sarah, and she's like, "I'm Sarah," and then she just says, "That's this," and she lists everybody else's in the room. Yeah, that's how I do it, right? I just listen to other podcasts and copy what they do.
Yeah, very original.
All right, hey, almost still.
Okay,
I almost said, hey,
so
everybody.
just say, Sarah, can you introduce us today?
Sarah, can you introduce us today?
Hello, welcome to the Mantracks. Are you ready for another podcast?
Do this. Hi, I'm JJ. I'm just gonna cut it.
You didn't do it in turn. That was so awkward. Hello, I'm Sarah. Welcome to another episode of the Matrix. Hi, I'm JJ. What the heck was that?
I put the sweater on because I was cold. I'm laughing
you're
so
nervous
much
now,
that I'm
aren't you?
nervous.
You've buttoned and unbuttoned your sweater like 3 times.
I get nervous when I talk to pretty girls. Okay, so
who are you talking to over there?
oh man,
Oh boy, your water's
gonna.
gonna spill on that computer.
All right, before we begin, before we get to the news desk, I do have a little small note. We have noticed a little small note. Yeah, it's extra small. I have noticed an uptick in volume of people downloading the episodes. October has had more than twice as many listeners as the month before that.
Have you been downloading it from different devices?
Yep, I just am switching to all the devices. You know, you remember those news stories where they had like the panel of smartphones? Did you ever see that? Where they have like little phone farms where you pay people to give you likes and clicks, and they have a whole board of phones, and they just click view on every phone. Have you not seen that? There's ways that you can actually pay money to get people to download your videos to boost you up in the algorithm. And they have a whole panel of phones, like a wall, and the person just clicks play on the video on every phone. Then they go back and do it again on each phone. And that's how they rack up. People pay people to do this nonsense, to artificially boost up your things. And so what I'm saying is knock it off,
weird.
guys.
No.
Weird. I'm just saying that I'm getting uncomfortable. It's almost like people are listening, and I don't like to imagine that actually.
Don't worry, I'm still not listening.
No, it's been fun. So welcome new listeners. We hope you enjoy this thing that we do, this place that we go to get away from all the things that have a point. All right, are you ready for the news desk?
Are you ready for news desk?
Are you ready for news desk?
Is that a TV show you've been watching?
Approach the news desk?
Sure.
Ready? Yeah.
All right.
Let's do
So
it.
my first article, it's kind of short, but it's quirky, and I feel like it fits with the conversation we were just having about climate change and environment, more environmental than anything else.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep. Before the podcast.
Right, before the podcast, not recently.
So far, I'm not sure this qualifies as a conversation.
I don't think anything we do qualifies as a conversation. Till trash do us part. A Taiwan couple embraces a garbage wedding shoot.
So like pictures.
So a little backstory first. So
Yes.
I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but it's pretty common in Taiwanese culture to do like a almost like a photo session in your wedding gown and tux and all this stuff like months prior to your wedding.
Oh,
Okay.
in the wedding gown. That's not the same as us.
Not necessarily the wedding gown that you're going to wear for your ceremony, but a wedding
a
gown.
separate wedding gown for this. Wow.
So you have like staged photos,
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
choose
yeah.
a couple locations, and you go to these locations, and they're very staged photos, like
Okay.
like almost like studio style photos, but they're like
Oh.
carefully arranged, and it's all like a big thing. It's like
Okay, so Taiwanese culture,
So-
this is a thing in their wedding.
so they
world.
take pictures, and so apparently there's a couple that is getting married in January.
Nice.
They're from Taiwan, Iris and Ian, and there's a picture of them in front of this like giant garbage dump in Puli Township in Taiwan.
Wow.
So it's like there's like a garbage dump, there's a crane in the background, there's tons of trash, and it says this couple decked out in a very unorthodox wedding photo the environmentally conscious bride is hoping this will discourage her guests from generating unnecessary garbage. So she's a Greenpeace campaigner.
Okay. All right.
So she and her fiance are having an environmentally friendly wedding in January. So they're getting married in January.
Okay.
And they're asking their guests to bring their own containers for taking home leftovers.
Cute. I actually kind of like that.
There's nothing wrong with that. I
Yeah,
have no problem
I'm
with it.
on
I think
board.
that's pretty cool. Or just like, I don't see anything wrong with that. I
No,
don't see
that's
it's a big
cool.
deal. So they decided that showing, not telling, was a more effective communication method. So they traveled 3 hours south for their photo shoot in Nantou County's Pooley Township, where the amount of trash brought to a local dump has steadily risen over the years. So apparently this is a dump that's been getting bigger and bigger and becoming more of a problem.
That's good. Use it for photos.
So she's using it as a photo opportunity to show her guests why it's so important for them to be more environmentally conscious. And for the wedding, please bring your own containers to bring home any leftovers that you have.
Okay, so I actually think this is kind of cute and it's a super fun thing. But do you remember Zoolander, the derelict campaign that Will Ferrell is putting together where they all just wear trash? Are they wearing trash?
Nope, they're wearing their wedding gown.
But
She's
it's like
wearing her wedding
normal
gown.
dress. It's not like made
Yep.
out of stuff.
Nope. It's her wedding gown and a veil, and he's wearing a tux, and
A
they're
little
kissing in
disappointed.
front of a sunset photo where there's trash in the background.
Interesting. Does it look bad or is it like artsy? Like is it? Oh no, it just looks bad.
It just looks. It looks like someone. Honestly, it doesn't even look that professionally staged. It looks like someone snapped
Photoshop.
it with like their phone.
Yeah.
It doesn't look fancy
I
at
gotta
all.
imagine though, if you're environmentally conscious, a lot of photography is wasteful.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. Yeah.
It says the 33-year-old said, if any guests, the 33-year-old bride said, if any guests are not willing to bring along a container, I would show them the photograph and say, would you reconsider? I didn't think this idea would create such a big sensation, but apparently it's drawn a lot of local media sensation.
Why? I guess that's not. I don't see it as like a thing.
Yeah, so apparently the island of Taiwan has 23 million people and has had a recycling program since 1987, but the trash process through the system is has the highest rates in the world.
Oof. I got to imagine. I mean, if you think about Japan, that's another kind of tiny island country, and they have to get real clever with their recycling, and Japan's tech on recycling is some of the most impressive in the world because they have been forced to.
They have to, yeah.
I gotta imagine Taiwan. I don't know how big Taiwan is comparatively. It's a lot of people, 23 million.
Yeah.
But you got to get creative. You run out of space.
Exactly.
In your
Yeah.
tiny country. Interesting.
It says our population is actually decreasing, but the amount of garbage is increasing every year, a local sanitation worker said. In the 1980s, it was about 20 tons a day of trash. Now it's 50 tons a day
Jeez.
of trash. That's insane.
This is the environmental issue that gets me more than anything else. Everyone is so focused on cars and greenhouse gases. And it's like, look, we could all drive electric cars, but if we're throwing away stuff every day, like,
It's just thinking about the things that we throw away that don't necessarily need to be thrown away.
and it just irks me because in the consumer culture we live in, this capitalistic society of like, make something bad that will break in a few years, so you have to buy it. It's like, can we get back to companies that built products that they were proud of, that they put a lifetime guarantee on, and it would last you 30 years? Because you buy like one refrigerator and one dryer and now it's like, no, they're expected to break every 3 years, like a phone. Why can't we make a cell phone that lasts me 20 years?
Yeah.
You know?
I know, we were just saying we've had our cell phones for like 5 years and it's like unheard
That's the
of.
longest we've ever gone. And it's like,
it's crazy.
The whole system. And no one's trying to stop that. Like all these environmental people, they all have cell phones that they buy new ones every few years. Like it's like we are so focused on specific versions of caring about the environment, and consumerism and the trash we produce is like 0% of it. Like it just drives me crazy how little we care about
We
that.
don't care about that.
And I wish we did.
I know, me too.
That's a fascinating story, though.
I have to include this last little bit here. It says this dump site that the couple posed in front of was initially a parking lot for garbage trucks. Using it as a waste storage site was supposed to be temporary, but now it's been functioning as a dump for 3 years.
Wow. Yep. It's like, oh, we'll just put it there for now, and we'll solve it later.
Yep.
And that's
and now
Wall-E
it's
straight up.
permanent.
Wow. No,
Just gross. So
that is so gross.
anyways, what do you have?
Netflix plans to open brick and mortar locations in 2025.
I saw this and I was like, what the heck? Why?
What on earth?
So Blockbuster's coming back is what I'm hearing.
We tried this already. The whole point of
Netflix put Blockbuster out of business, and now Netflix is creating
Going
its
back
own
to-
Blockbuster.
If you ever wanted Netflix to be a more interactive experience, the
No, I
streamer
have
has
not.
big plans for you. Yeah, that's never ever been my desire. If anything, I want it to be less interactive.
Yeah.
Stop asking
I don't even
me.
interact with it. I don't have a Netflix account.
No,
so.
but you're right. Streaming of some sort. Netflix is launching brick and mortar locations, which will offer food, merchandise, and experiences. We're so
I don't care.
no.
I don't need that.
They're calling them Netflix houses. That's what the physical locations. They will offer merchandise, food, and show-related activities where fans can shop, play, and interact with their favorite Netflix shows.
So let me understand something.
Yup.
Banks are realizing that it's pointless to even have physical stores anymore, so they're just all going online and going digital. But digital places like streaming services are finding it somehow lucrative and beneficial to have a brick and mortar.
Yep.
I don't understand our world. I hate it here.
They've been testing this concept for a while, Forbes reports. This is from yahoo.com, but they bring in some other sites. In June, the streamer tried out Netflix Bites, which were temporary dining pop-up inspired by some of the food and culinary shows. In May, it hosted Only on Netflix in Japan, where settings from popular shows like Stranger Things and Emily in Paris were recreated for fans to explore. So they've been kind of like putting their toes in this a little bit. They created something last year. Netflix launched something called the Queen's Ball, a Bridgerton experience, which is a traveling event where fans could dress like Regency characters and attend a Bridgerton-style ball. Which, if you don't know Bridgerton, I believe it's like, my understanding of it is it's like Downton Abbey, but rated R with lots of sex. Like it's inappropriate.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like my kind of show at all.
I wasn't interested to begin with, and then they added other things. They plan to open 2 Netflix houses in the U.S. in 2025. In addition to food and retail, they will continue events like these pop-ups. So they're keep playing with this. Like, all right, how can we make more money? I feel like my guess is that they're looking at Disney World. They're like, all right, Disney makes all this content, but they make bank on the live experience of their things.
But apparently Disney not really making bank right now with their live experience.
Have they not been? I don't actually know.
Apparently attendance has been really low, and they've been trying to like monetize very specific things now, because it's like, not less people are coming to the park, so what now can we charge things, people to do, even more. So
now, if you're into the idea of Netflix merch, don't need to.
That's okay.
I'm not. Hard pass. You don't need to wait for the Netflix house to open. There's already an online store for that. So you don't need the physical location. Don't do it. But here are some examples of Netflix merch. There's a Netflix DVD sleeping bag. The sleeping bag looks like the iconic red envelope that they used to literally mail you DVDs in.
Another unnecessary thing that we don't need.
There's a hoodie that just says Netflix on it a whole bunch. A couple of different styles of hoodie. In Netflix, that's nylon track pants.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Comfortable nylon track pants. There you go.
Comfortable and nylon can be used in the same
Spalding
sentence.
Stranger Things fireball basketball. What? Hellfire Club baseball hat. So it's just Stranger Things merch, right? Like, that's all this is.
This is weird and pointless.
So anyways, coming near to you, Netflix, brick and mortar locations, 2025. Not even next year.
Set to file for bankruptcy in 2026.
I don't get it. Like, my guess is the experience. I bet the experience thing is fun. If you found out that, like, hey, they're coming and they're going to set up Starcourt Mall at the nearby mall, and you get to go and you could explore that. I would find that really fun. That would be
not if I have to pay.
Well, no, and that's the thing. You'd always have to pay.
No. That's why I don't even have a Netflix subscription. I'm not paying for that.
That's all I had. Netflix
That's
plans.
Crazy.
Brick and mortar location.
Wow. Who pitched this idea? Man poses as a mannequin in a storefront and then goes on a shopping spree after the mall closes.
Isn't that the plot of Home Alone 2?
It's actually Harry and Marv right here in the picture. So this is in Poland. An alleged thief posed in a store window as a mannequin. Apparently he's a 22-year-old man
Is he very pale?
It's so ridiculous. The picture, it says a 22-year-old man with a bag in his hand froze motionless, pretending to be a mannequin in front of a shop window. He wasn't even in the shop window. He's like standing outside the front of the shop window with a bag in his hand, like to evade security cameras somehow. I don't understand it. But he's just like posed in front of it. And then the last customer left the mall doors closed, and the man broke from his stance, robbed a jewelry stand. It says he came back for round 2 on another occasion. This isn't the first time he's done this.
Wow. So he got away with it the first time is what I'm hearing.
He ate his fill at the food stations before stealing a new outfit.
That is...
Priorities.
You know what this reminds me of is Elf. It makes me think of Elf, the way he Elf sneaks into the mall and he has like this fun free-for-all in an abandoned mall, and he's like, aha, I can, sneak past security and decorate the whole place.
So... Even after hours, there's mall security. Like, that still exists. Just because people are gone doesn't mean there's no security.
But he posed as a man. Is there any way that anyone thought he was a mannequin? Like, I think he just held still and people were like, whatever, that guy's being weird. Nobody thought you were a mannequin. But why didn't
mall security do a sweep and be like, dude, you've been standing here for 4 hours. Why are you still here? This is weird.
Wow.
It says he was arrested by police, could face up to 10 years in prison. This was not his first time stealing from a shopping mall.
That's a fantastic story. A man pretending to be a mannequin.
He has stolen money from cash registers and attempted to steal other items after the malls have closed.
Bummer. That's not cool, but kind of funny. I love his method. That's just creative and a little quirky.
It's just weird.
Do you remember, which one was it? Guardians of the Galaxy, where he's like, I'm invisible. And they're like, Drax, we can clearly see you. And he's like, no, I'm moving so slowly.
Well, and that's what this man's 22, so we'll just say his brain hasn't fully developed yet. So he's...
There you go. Burn.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And ridiculous.
Or painful.
All right. So we're kind of on an environmental kick with our stories today.
Okay.
French nun tackles environmental protester attempting to stop construction of a religious center. Did you hear about this?
No.
Oh, it's awesome. They have video of it. A French nun was seen tackling an environmental protester outside the construction of a new religious center that quickly became a viral online video. She just clocks the guy. Like, the nun takes him down. It's pretty fantastic.
That's crazy.
On Saturday, members of the eco group, and I'm going to mess this up, Les Amis de la Bourge, Bourges, Bourge, which is translated to Friends of the Village, attempted to protest.
She's not your friend.
They attempted to protest the building of a new religious complex on the Saint Pierre de Colombier. The construction was surrounded by a group of nuns from the missionary family of Notre Dame, forming a human chain around the area to stop the activists. Now, the activists were destroying property.
Oh, okay.
They were laying pipes or something. Let me see if this article says it. It says altercations reportedly began in the early morning, leading to one of the sisters tackling a protester who was running away with what appeared to be building material to the ground. She tackled him to the ground while other protesters stomped on the piping material.
Go, sister.
Yeah.
Man, she's
like
not playing around.
Well, there's like this piping material that they need, and they're stomping on it and shattering it. And then when they were caught, they grabbed it and ran. And then when she tackled him,
get sent to, I mean, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. No, this is not cool.
That's like yeah.
This guy says, I did not expect that. I expected the nuns to be a little reasonable for public order. The problem is that religious people decided to resort to violence. Pretty sure you started with the theft and destruction of property, and she was tackling you as you were trying to run away with the property.
Yeah.
This is an interesting trend, though, where thieves try to thieve, and then people stopping them get in trouble for stopping them. You know what I mean? Like someone tries to steal from a jewelry store, and you tackle the thief. Then you get in trouble for they get fired from the store.
It's like if you work at Walmart and you're not allowed to tackle someone who's shoplifting.
They'll just let them take it. And I feel like
you can actually get in more trouble for trying to tackle the shoplifter than just letting the shoplifter go and letting.
Truly. And the shoplifters know that. And they're getting to the point where they're upset when someone physically stops them from stealing. It's like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm stopping you from stealing. You can't do that. And it's like, Yes, I can. You can't do what you're doing, the stealing thing. Like, following the confrontation, the nuns resumed a more peaceful stance, singing while blocking the surrounding protesters. Approximately 10 police officers were also in the area. According to the environmentalist group, the construction threatened several rare plant species that have not been properly protected. The group said they're calling for the suspension of the construction until all environmental authorizations have been obtained. This stomping on the pipes, that in the video you watch it and it's like, whoa, that's not cool. These are not just protesters. These are
but here's
vandals.
the problem that I have. They're like, well, you won't protect our plants, so we'll just destroy your... It's like, I'm sorry, what? How does that solve the problem?
Yeah, busting up these pipes, that's not better for the environment.
No, it's not. Well, and it's not helping that. I mean, if anything, then it just gives them more reason to be like, you know what, forget it. No, we don't care about your plants. We're just going to do this anyway.
Worse.
Like, it's not, it doesn't work. Like, that's so childish I don't understand protesters sometimes. Like, it's like they get so caught up in stuff that they're not realizing and using logic. Like, think about what you're doing. Like, seriously.
I'm all about protecting plant species and stuff.
Sure.
It's just when you turn it into vandalism and actual, like, I'm going to destroy what you're doing. You know, I feel like there's a rising trend, and I think that's been the environmental folks have marginalized themselves so much so that a lot of people just don't take them seriously. So they have tried to turn up the volume from 10 to 12, and they've gone from screaming the worst thing, like the end of the world, now they've turned to actual violence. And it's like, that's
is
not gonna
better.
help. No, like, yeah.
Nope.
So
That's ridiculous.
but anyways, the video of a nun tackling the environmental guy
pretty good.
was pretty funny. It was I'm not even going to comment on the plant. Like, maybe that's a super valuable plant and maybe they're totally in the right, but you can't be vandalizing and stealing pipeline. And so the nun tackling you is going to go ahead and be pretty funny.
Sister Francis, she coming for you.
All right. You ready for Sponsor Your Life?
Sure.
All right. What do you got?
So I'm going to go ahead and say Lehman's Apple Barn.
Yeah.
It wasn't like anything... It wasn't as good as that time we went to the Russell's Blueberry Farm here in Freeland, but it is another Freeland like location of local goods that I liked.
I forgot about that place. That was
right,
awesome.
like that was back in the summertime, but like this is a local. It's like a farm. Yeah,
they up a couple months ago about their donuts.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot you talked about the donuts.
Yeah.
But this past weekend we were going to buy apples for the church apple pie day. And so we bought just under 2 bushels of apples.
There's a lot of apples.
Yeah,
Did you know that a bushel is like 44 pounds of apples?
42 pounds of apples.
42 pounds of apples.
So we bought almost 42 pounds of apples, and they had some good variety. The pies turned out pretty good. But we went and you bought the apples for the apple pie day, and then we also got the kids pumpkins so that they could paint and carve.
Yeah.
And it was just a cute little place. It had been such a rainy weekend. We managed to go at like the short amount of time that it wasn't raining. It was chilly, but it was, kind of sunny, and it was busy there still, even though there wasn't a lot of outdoor stuff going on. Yeah, it was just a fun little place. They had a great selection of pumpkins, and I mean, decently priced. I was able to, get some of the kids to choose the $2 pumpkins, and the others chose the $8 pumpkins because they wanted to go big. But
it didn't break the bank, though.
No, it wasn't terrible. But we bought apple cider there. I've bought apple cider there before, and it was pretty good. So it's a fun little place. I like it.
It was fun. The carving pumpkins, the boys got into that.
It was a good little day.
So
very fall festive activity sponsored by Lehman's Apple Barn in Freeland, Michigan.
That's a great sponsor. All right, mine is more, I guess, lame or mainstream or whatever. But
That's you.
Sorry. It's basically this past Sunday was Pastor Appreciation Sunday, which I have to comment on that because it was so funny. So the church got me a gift basket, and they were like, "We appreciate you, Pastor JJ," and then they caught me totally off guard. I was not anticipating it, and it was just such an awkward transition. I felt so bad because I just kind of was like, "Oh, thank you." Moving on, I didn't want to be the center of attention in the worship service, but it was so sweet. They were so nice, and I loved the gift basket. It was packed. So what I'm going to say is sponsoring my life is those little Ghirardelli chocolate
the chocolate squares,
Those things are just awesome. The mint ones, the little raspberry ones are my favorite.
Good,
they got caramel ones and dark chocolate and milk chocolate, and they put a whole bunch of those on the bottom of the gift basket. And then they had like other cool stuff, and they would definitely tailored it for me, which was great. It was coffee mugs, and there were 2 different coffee mugs in there. I got a Lions t-shirt. It was
to hold on to and cry as you dab your tears from the horrible loss.
Gosh, that game was so bad.
Yeah. But it was a nice gift basket.
It was so kind, and I love those Ghirardelli chocolate swears. Swears.
You love chocolate swears.
It's a good thing I don't talk professionally for a
swears. Yeah, it was a nice gift basket. I will attest to that. It was very sweet and carefully selected.
Well, because you can like buy pre-made gift baskets, right? But this one was clearly. It was so well done that I was like, wow, they must have bought this somewhere. But it's like, nope, this was tailored. This was definitely tailored for me.
It was very nice.
It was very, very nice. And so those little Ghirardelli chocolate squares are sponsoring my life today.
You would choose chocolate.
I would, yeah. It was pretty darn good. You know what's not sponsoring my life, though, was the little Starbucks hot chocolate packets that were in there. A little disappointing, not going to lie. Come on, Starbucks, do a little better.
I mean, I still say making your own hot chocolate is better.
They had coffee in there, like bags of coffee, like special bag. There was a good gift basket.
Yeah.
All right, so let's shift gears. I do not have a title for the segment, but I have a couple of topics of Halloween's things. So that's coming up this next week. It will be Halloween before the next episode comes out. Okay. So I thought we could talk Halloween a little bit. So I have 3 different topics. So this past weekend, I posted a thing, and I was like, I don't know what to talk about on the podcast. What should I do? And people threw out a bunch of ideas. And so first, let's rank candy, not chocolate. What's your top? Let's do top 2 and bottom 2 candies of all time.
Okay, top 2 and bottom 2.
Yeah.
Are we talking about like candies from like today or from like when I was a kid?
Ooh.
I mean, I'm not that old.
Maybe both. I'm curious if they're different, right? Have your taste changed on candies?
I mean, like, okay, so what people are handing out today for candy is a little bit different than what was being handed out when we were kids. Like,
okay.
Like as a kid, I used to love like Sixlets or like, what are they called? Not Bit of Honey.
Oh no, those are terrible. Did your neighborhood give out terrible candy?
No, I just have different tastes than you. As a kid, I would probably have to say that I probably liked Butterfinger a lot.
Oh, really? That's unexpected.
I know it is because I don't usually go for peanut butter. I would have to say the worst candies that you could get. And we used to get these without fail, and we just give them to my mom because she loves them. Mary Jane's, those awful black licorice candies, or Good and Plenty's, another awful black licorice candy.
It's
like black licorice. It's black licorice. I don't like black licorice.
No,
so
you don't.
Good and Plenty's, like I remember the first time I ever saw Good and Plenty's, I was like, oh, I thought they were like Mike and Ike's. So I bit into one and I was like, oh, this is a lie coated in gross, and it was awful, and it was so
a lie
bad.
Coated in gross. I like that.
It was so I definitely don't like black licorice or anything like that.
Yeah, I do like black licorice.
Or I was just actually had a random text conversation with my brother and sister the other day. We always used to love the fruities. Like they're so basic. I don't like regular Tootsie Rolls, but the fruity Tootsie Rolls, like the fruit flavored Tootsie Rolls, either the lemon or the lime ones were so good.
Really?
Yep.
See, I don't mind those, but those are not my favorite. I like the cherry one.
Ugh, I don't like cherry. Will always taste like cough syrup to me.
Cherry's my favorite artificial flavor.
I hate cherry. I don't even really like. Here's the thing. I like real cherries, cherries from a tree, but maraschino cherries, anything cherry flavored, everything tastes like cough syrup. And it's disgusting. I can't stand that artificial flavor.
I just like cough syrup.
You probably do. I can't even drink when a place is like, we have our Michigan cherry roast coffee. It just tastes like someone mixed cough syrup into coffee.
Nope, I'm not into that.
Grosses me out. It's like drinking Robitussin.
Like cherry flavored Pop-Tarts and Twizzlers and little Twizzler nibs and all the chewy cherry things are all my favorites. Dots candy.
Dots are so gross.
I love gummy candies.
I don't like gummy candies. That's my thing.
My least favorite probably it's got to be like the Whoppers. Those are pretty gross.
Oh, I love malted milk
not
balls.
like Whoppers. They're
I love a good malted. Actually, that sounds
bits of
good. Let's get
chalk
malted.
in
Oh, those Robin's eggs candies at Easter time are my favorite. I love malted milk balls.
See, I like the chocolate coating, but then you get down to the gross
Chocolate
stuff.
coating is gross. It's wax.
No,
with
that's
chocolate.
The best part. That's the only part that's
the
any
malted
good.
part is the best.
It's like sawdust that
It's
they wrap
so
up and they put
freaking
inside
good. I love sawdust. The crunch, it's like chalk, and it gives you that like shivery feeling.
Ew,
You know what I'm talking-
I don't know.
Yes, you do know what I'm talking about. It's like nails on a chalkboard. It's just
No, why would
weirdly
you like that?
satisfying. I don't know.
All the things that are coming out of your mouth are bad.
Now you know how I feel about you 90% of the time. You're like, every movie is a good movie. That's a lie.
And if it's not gummy flavored, like I love all the trolley candies.
Gummy flavor? It's a flavor now?
If it's not a gummy candy, then I gotta have a Reese's. I love me some chocolate peanut butter. Anything like that, right? Like it could be the Reese's egg, the Reese's Christmas trees, like whatever they've got that's chocolate and peanut butter mixed, I'm on board. Like a fast break, they make the little like Reese's. Have you ever had those fast breaks? They're like, it's like Reese's in a candy bar form. Like
who asked for that?
I did. A lot.
Nobody needs that.
Oh, those are good. There's not a lot of candies I don't like. Although, yeah, Whoppers and the Robin eggs, those are gonna go in the throwaway pile. And I'm not a big hard candy fan. Any kind of like butterscotch.
I don't like Jolly Ranchers.
Yeah, I don't really like Jolly Ranchers.
You know what I used to love when I was a kid are those chewy sprees. Okay, I don't usually like
those are
fruity
real tart. Yeah.
Chewy sprees or like the chewy sweet tarts.
Yes. Yep. I'm on board.
And I will say I'm not a huge gummy candy fan, but I did used to love Laffy Taffy as a kid.
Oh yes, I love Laffy Taffy. Still to the day. Yeah, the dad tax comes in with the candy, and I get in on some of that.
Nowadays, I just try to like steer the kids away from any of the artificially colored candy. Even though, let's be real, everything is processed. So I just like chocolate. It's not the best, but it's the safer side. So.
All right. So the next topic is I had somebody ask me, which is better, staying at home and handing out candy or going out and going trick-or-treating to get candy? And I grew up like there was no staying home. We went trick-or-treating every year till I was a senior. Like
you went trick-or-treating in high school?
Totally. Absolutely. Me and my friends, we definitely went trick-or-treating. Although I had a buddy of mine, David Stevens, and he kind of set up his house like a haunted house. So there were 1 or 2 years where we would go to like his house. So what we would do in high school was we would go trick-or-treating for like a half an hour, 45 minutes. Then we go to someone's house and watch a scary movie and like have a Halloween party.
I legit judged people who went trick-or-treating as teenagers. You know trick-or-treating is for kids. No, and you're out there hawking all the small children's candy. Greedy little,
maybe stopping by a friend's house with some toilet paper to decorate.
Nah, I when I was in high school, I definitely I got really excited to like make my costume, but I was always the one in my house handing out candy.
That's so funny to me.
Like my parents did not really do Halloween. Like when we were kids, they would take us out trick or treating. Maybe like it would be like mom would take us out or
for sure.
dad would take us out. But like by the time we got to like I got to like maybe 7th or 8th grade, I didn't go trick-or-treating anymore.
But you still
I would stay home and
costumes.
I would be the person handing out candy. Oh heck yeah, I had to have a costume if I was going to hand out candy.
That's the part that I love about your story, because when you stay home, you don't dress up. You just are wearing your hoodie and your pajama pants and handing out candy.
No, you absolutely are. And I spent a lot of time on my SpongeBob costume when I was a freshman, okay? I worked really hard on that box, and I painted it meticulously and had yellow tights. And
the homemade, like, I would pay so much money if I could see you in that costume.
I'm sure I have pictures somewhere of my SpongeBob costume. I worked really hard on that. I'd spent like I remember, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, I handed out candy every single year.
What were your other costumes? Do you remember when you were in high school?
I was a fairy one year. That was like a little solid. I had wings, and I'm trying to remember one of the other ones that I was. I'm not sure. Now I'm forgetting.
Yeah, I can't remember any of the years either.
I may have been a cowgirl one year just because my mom had some old cowboy boots from when she was in high school, and they used to fit me for a while.
Cool.
But I remember because my brother and sister would still go because they were younger. Yep. So they just like go out together, and we had a pretty like small neighborhood. They just like go to the neighborhood and then come back. Yeah. But I gotta say, like, I was never super interested in the candy when I was in high school,
man.
so I was always like, I don't really care. Like, my brother might be like, I don't like these, you want these? And so I'd take them. But I didn't have a huge sweet tooth when I was in high school. Like,
see, and that's you and I are very different. We would hit the as hard as we could. Big pillowcases, half full, heavy, slung over our shoulder. There was the big house. We call it the mansion house. And it was just a very, very nice house in our neighborhood. They had like a private tennis court, and they had the dock on the lake that was super, super nice. But they had a table in their entryway. It was like a double door entry that opened up to their house, and they would put out tables, and it was just boxes of king-sized candy.
yeah,
everywhere.
we had some people in our neighborhood that would hand out full-size candy
And,
bars.
I mean, they were a big deal. So we would like go and swap masks and go back to that house several times so we could hit it big.
That's so dishonest.
It's not dishonest.
It's
It's
dishonest.
a system. Everybody knows you
No.
do that.
That's terrible.
And then you go and you have to skip the one house that hands out New Testaments.
You, who's like, I'm an oldest child rule follower. I never do anything that's not by the book. And you're like, we lied about who we were so we could get more candy
never
bars.
lied. We just changed our costumes.
That's called lying. It's not honest, so it's a lie.
So would you say that it was better to like go trick-or-treating or to hand out Halloween?
I don't know.
Candy.
For me, it's fun to make costumes. I don't care so much about the candy itself.
Yeah,
It's
yep.
about making the costumes. So I would say, like, as a parent, I enjoy going out with my kids. And as a parent now, it's cheaper to go out with my kids because candy is like $30 a bag.
crazy
And I'm
expensive.
not paying that much money to hand out candy, hand out cavities to kids.
I think when the boys are old enough to go by themselves and they can go trick-or-treating, I think we will have fun handing out candy. You know what I mean? Like, it'll be fun to stay home and hand out candy someday.
I'll hand out apples.
No, it can't be that house.
I will be that house.
You want to be that house?
Yep.
Um,
I don't care. I will. I'll hand out apples. I'll dress up.
I'd rather make homemade candy than hand out apples. I mean, come on.
And by I'd rather make homemade candy, what you mean is, Sarah, I'd rather you make
I'd
some
rather
homemade
you
candy so I can hand it out.
To tarnish our neighbors in the neighborhood is the apple house.
Come on, apples are so good.
All right, so then I found this article, how to handle 8 etiquette situations on Halloween. So
Okay.
they're going to present us with 8 Halloween scenarios, and you
Okay.
have to tell us. Now they give us the advice, but I'm going to ignore their advice, and we should.
As you ignore most rules and
Yes,
things.
I'm a good rule following pastor's kid, oldest child. Just don't tell anyone.
Not even pastor's kid at this point. You're literally a pastor.
It's true. I'm not even that.
You can't even use that as your guise
man.
anymore.
All right, number 1. If a trick-or-treater dives into your candy bowl with both hands, grabbing as many treats as they can, what should you do?
Please take one. I'm not gonna like punch the kid in the face.
I would probably intervene. I put my hand out and like block. No.
Actually, no. Here's what I used to do. I would literally take a few pieces. I would have
there
the
you go.
bowl
Don't
set on
give
a
them
table.
access to the bowl.
No. I mean, you have a bowl. Well, and honestly, as when I got to be like later in high school, I would be like,
Yep.
I would have alternatives. Like there would be the candy bowl, and then there would be like the other alternative prizes bowl, and be like, I would, if there was a little kid and they had a parent, I'd be like, can they have candy? Or
Yeah, you gotta ask.
so
yeah.
ask,
Nice.
but like I would always have it on the table, and then I'd see the kid and I'd take a few pieces, like 1 or 2 pieces, and put it in their bag for
That's cute.
them.
I like that. I just think if you hand it to them, it's just a better, because if you just hold the bowl out, there's just that temptation for a kid to grab as much as he can get. All right. If a trick or treater scoffs at your candy offerings, what should you do?
Okay, see you later.
Slam the
No
door.
skin off my nose.
I like this one. It says, remind them of their manners by saying, well, I don't think a real superhero, or whatever they're dressed as, would sneer at a kind gesture, or a licorice twist for that matter. It's a little cheesy,
That's
but
a
I
little.
kind of like it.
I don't know. That's.
I don't think a real super. Well,
I'm not gonna parent that child. Like,
I want to know what kid is scoffing at candy. Like, honestly, it was sort of a blind
I'll just dig into
grab.
their bag and be like, "Here, you want trade, or you want what do you want to do here?"
I can't imagine a kid. I've literally never seen a kid go, ugh, I don't like those, and maybe the kids are just getting more entitled, but
So you just shut the door and be like, "Try next door."
well, and I guess like for me, Halloween was like it's a blind grab. right? You don't look. You just hold your bag out and they dump stuff in. You sort through it later, right? Like you're not checking it in the moment. Like that's not. Anyways. Oh, here's one. If a trick-or-treater looks to be a little old to be asking for candy, what should you do? So if I showed up while you were handing out candy as a high schooler, what would you do? You're a senior and I was a year below you, right? So I'd be a junior in high school. I was still 5'2", so I'm going to come up in my little Halloween costume.
You passed for a kid.
Yep. What would you do? Hey, that kid looks... Because I was with my friends who were tall, so...
I mean, I'm not going to call somebody out. I'm not saying that as a high schooler handing out candy, I didn't still see high schoolers coming to my house.
You still let them come through?
I mean, I'm not going to say anything to them. But I will admit this, though. I would probably take fewer pieces of candy and put it in your bag.
Yep, you each get one Smartie. What age would you say is the line? Where do you draw the line of, okay, maybe stay home for kids? Like, when are they aging out?
7th grade.
7th grade?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. That's actually what they say. They say, how old is too old to trick or treat? There's no law. Some people get miffed if they see anyone past the age of 13 going door to door. But you shouldn't refuse to serve trick or treating teens. Go ahead, give them some candy. Think of it like this. By indulging in this holiday, they're holding on to their childhood for one more year. Number 4, if a trick or treater asks for a donation to a cause. I have never heard of that. Is that a thing?
That is actually a brilliant way to go around with your little petition. That, I mean, they have to open the door for you. This is wow. I'd never thought about that before.
Cute?
That's actually really cute. I would love to hear them talk about their little cause.
I like it only because it's so unique. I think if that caught on and you suddenly have got a ton of kids running around on Halloween night trying to get you to sign stuff, that would get annoying fast.
Yeah.
But it's really cute.
I have never had that happen before, so I would be very interested
I thought it was a fun scenario.
Engage with a kid.
Okay.
If the high school was doing that instead of just going out and getting candy,
will you sign my petition or donate to this cause? That's kind of a cool thing.
No, I think I'll fling my candy dish at them like a frisbee and shut the door in their face.
I like to keep the hose handy just in case to hose off any unwanted visitors.
Okay, well...
Number 5, if visitors are festooning your front lawn with candy wrappers. So they're taking candy, then they're going out into your yard and then, eating the candy and throwing litter all over your yard.
I've never dealt with this problem.
No?
But, I mean... I'll clean it up later. It's
not a big deal to you.
It doesn't really bother me that much.
It was a big thing for us growing up because my mom, as a dentist, would not let us keep our candy. So we learned early on, you eat on the go. So we would eat the candy between the houses.
So you put the wrappers back in your bag.
Yeah, that's always what we did. We never threw it on the floor. We would go back.
I mean, I think if I was watching a kid unwrap it and throw it on my sidewalk, I'd be like, please remember not to litter, or let's clean up after ourselves.
Yep.
I wouldn't.
Not a big deal.
I don't think I'd start, kid, get off my lawn and stop throwing your wrappers out there.
I do think you would make a fantastic cranky lady if you wanted to.
I can sit out there in the lawn chair, rag on people.
Number 7, if your plans involve attending a party where others will be wearing costumes and you're not the costume type, what should you do?
Don't go to the party. God, what a party pooper.
Oh, that's the opposite of what they say. They say fake an interest in costumes. You don't need to don a full SpongeBob ensemble to look like a good sport, but at least act as though you enjoy it.
I reject that. I have a costume if you need one.
You have to dress up.
No, I have been to a party before where I was the last minute person wrapping my arms in toilet paper pretending to be a mummy. I didn't actually want to even really go to the party, but I wanted to spend time with the people who I was with. So
no, that was me. We went together to that party.
We did?
Yes.
Oh, well, I guess.
Remember?
I remember my sister being there, but apparently you were important too.
I gave you a ride to that party.
I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah. You were the mummy and I was the ghost. Remember?
Oh, my gosh. I don't remember that.
I literally cut holes in the sheet for a college party that we went to.
Oh, my gosh.
That was us.
That was us?
Yeah, we wrapped you in toilet paper and it all fell off.
Yeah, it fell off in the car.
Because we weren't going to go. And then it was like, oh no, last minute invitation.
I guess I remember that.
That was fun. It was hilarious because
it's sad that I remember my costume more than I remember you.
You don't even remember me. Do I matter?
But there were Whoppers, right?
No.
That's the only thing that matters.
We left as soon as I saw there were Whoppers. I was offended by the...
We are not staying at this party. Put it in your purse. Put it in your purse.
Halloween is not that big a deal, but
it's not that
fun
big a
night
deal
for kids, and it's a big deal. They talk about
for
it.
our kids. It's I mean, they do like the candy, but I think really like dressing up.
You've
Like,
kind of instilled in them that love of making your own costume.
they just
get real
love
excited
dressing
about
up.
it.
But see, they love dressing up even when it's not Halloween.
It's fun.
Like,
It's
they love
imaginative
to play.
for sure.
So,
All right, so
Yeah.
there's a realsimple.com 8 different what is it called? How to handle 8
Scenarios.
etiquette situations on Halloween.
etiquette situations.
I think
Okay.
we've given all the advice anyone could ever need to have a perfect Halloween.
You mean all the advice no one ever asked for or needed?
Are you ready to send us out with the mom joke of the week?
I am.
Oh,
yes.
hey everybody, thanks for listening. Blah blah blah.
Hey,
Now.
everybody. Gosh, it's never going to die.
Nope.
All right. So, in keeping with our Halloween theme, what is a vampire's favorite fruit?
Blood orange.
Oh, that's pretty close.
Oh no.
No, nectarine.
Nice.
That was a good guess.
It is.
Blood orange.
Bye everybody.
Bye, everyone.